Last video, we saw that average fixed costs decreased with increases in production, as the fixed costs were spread over large numbers of product. Eric had been building his cars on his own, but he hired his friend Naomi to help him build more cars to keep up with increasing demand. Hiring Naomi allowed Eric to double the number of cars his company produced per day. But Naomi thinks they can do even better. There are some jobs Eric is not very good at doing. Eric has the occasional difficulty with headlights. Eric? Hello? Are you okay? Naomi, on the other hand. I like it when people say on the other hand. Naomi is tire challenged. So they decide to split up the work. They each pick the jobs they are better at, and after a while, they get better at the jobs they pick. Naomi does some jobs like putting on headlights, and Eric does others, like putting on wheels. When Eric worked alone, doing all the different jobs himself, he was able to build 1 car per day. When he hired Naomi, and they each did all the different jobs, the two of them were able to build 2 cars a day. Now, however, with each of them doing particular jobs, they are able to produce more than 2 cars. 2 workers can produce more than twice as many cars. Economics has a name for when multiple workers can concentrate on specific tasks and increase their productivity. It is known as specialization. The increased productivity from specialization can arise for many reasons. Workers can do the jobs they do best instead of being forced to do jobs for which they are ill-suited. Doing the same job over and over allows workers to improve their skills at one task. By doing fewer tasks, there is less downtime as workers switch between tasks. Eric is interested in knowing what effect this has on his costs, so he calls upon his pal, Al, the accountant.
Let's see. When Eric worked on his own, building 1 car a day, he spent on average 20 for tools, 10 for yard rental, 50 for parts, and 30 for his labor. That totals to 110 for 1 car, which is also the average total cost.
You've included all the opportunity costs. Very good.
Yeah, whatever. When Eric hired Naomi, and they each did the same jobs, they produced 2 cars per day. Eric spent 20 for tools, 10 for yard rental, 100 for parts, and 60 for his and Naomi's labor. That totals to 190 for 2 cars, or on average, a cost of 95. Now that Eric and Naomi are splitting up the jobs, they produce 3 cars per day. To build 3 cars, Eric pays the same for tools and yard rental. His cost for parts have tripled, but his cost for labor has only doubled. That totals to 240 for 3 cars, or on average, a cost of 80.
So, by hiring another worker and increasing production, Eric has been able to lower his average costs in 2 ways. From the last video, we learned that he could spread fixed costs when he increased production. And in this video, we've seen the advantages of specialization. By lowering average costs, he is able to increase profits. When costs were 110 per car, and he was selling a car for 100 pieces, Eric lost 10 pieces on every car he sold. Now with costs down to 80 pieces per car, Eric makes a 20-piece profit on every car. This makes Eric very happy. Specialization is not always seen as a good thing. Sometimes doing the same thing over and over can get boring, or even cause injury. Worst case of carpal-plastic syndrome ever. But specialization has been a major driving force in increased productivity throughout human history. Many less developed economies suffer from a lack of specialization. I do a lot of jobs. I grow my own food, build my own house, fix my own bike, and repair my own droid. I'm really only good at fixing bikes. The food is lousy, the house leaks, and the droid just beeps all day. So far in our lessons, increases in production have led to decreases in average total costs. In the next lesson, we'll see that there is a limit to this effect, and that eventually, average total costs begin to increase with an increase in production, due to a phenomenon known as diminishing returns.